Well, we've seen a lot of action throughout the day when it comes to the weather that's going on. Prayers to all those affected by the tornado outbreak today. Just want to go ahead and get that out of the way. But we're ready for some action here to get our minds off of it with the Cup Series here with NNR tonight. Like you mentioned, we saw a great Xfinity race yesterday. Had a lot of fun being able to watch those guys tear it up here at Darlington. And now it's the Cup guys' turn. Time for them to put on a show. It's going to be a fun one.
Unfortunately, my mic didn't unmute right when I said it to. So, what's up, guys? One more time. Y'all just heard from Expert. Now let's flip it on over to the driver of the Double Deuce. You saw him have a pretty good night last night. Arguably, probably the best producing Double Deuce in all of this series as far as what J-Pot says, which we'll see him on track here pretty soon. Yotes, how are you, sir? Welcome to the Cup booth one more time. You know some of these guys. Anybody standing out to you tonight? Yotes, you got a copy, buddy.
I think he's having some technical difficulties. It's popping up like he's talking.
I got you now.
There we
sir.
go.
Like the old Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? How about now? How about now? How about now?
Yeah.
We got you, sir.
Okay, yeah, I mean, all these Cup guys are amazing out here, but, you said it the best. J-Paw, he's a guy to keep an eye out on. Stout also. He's been on it lately. He's been killing it. We'll see if he can produce tonight, maybe bring out another win.
Maybe. Expert, I'm going to go ahead and send you the invite if you don't mind sharing it with Yotes, and then we'll get in here together and get things rolling.
Of course.
Let's see. All right, there's your invite right there.
Thank you, good sir.
You got it.
And
what an amazing week this has been. Okay, I'm not sure what. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I was hearing something strange in my headset for a moment there. But no, this is the final race of the NNR regular season, and we've wrapped it up with the trucks, where Bowling captured the regular season championship. Last night was King Mathers. I have a feeling, very, very big feeling, a very strong hunch will say that CGMX Rose is going to walk away with this. Stout Whiskey will come on P2, and then more smoke in P3. We're going to go through the field.
Let's go.
It's going to start off with the 95, Jose 95 on the pole. The 42 CGMX Rose on the outside. You got the 48 of the Aviator, the 9 of More Smoke, with the 4 of Natty Dread and that Jimmy John's Ford Mustang. Going to keep a special eye on this car tonight. Here we got the 18 of Rowdy, the 22, he's driving those Hertz colors. Special throwback to Johnny Benson tonight. The 21 of my Silent Hunter, Old Parzival. The 8 car of Fort Smitty, the 2 car of Stout Whiskey. The 12 of Knights with the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man. 36 of NNR Boehner in that Select Lines Ford. We are coming off of turns 3 and 4. This is pretty much, I mean, you can run double wide here, Expert, but it is very much a one-group track. We've seen it.
Down the bottom.
Go ahead and take his green. See if anybody's going to be willing to try to run this double wide for the first lap.
And here we go. You can already talk about it. The 48 of the Aviator. He's trying to make a move there on the 95 of Jose. He's going to be able to get a good jump in the Raise Energy restart zone, as these guys have already pulled away to a considerable gap, considering the 42 of Rose got a very porous start. Might have spun the tires or just got caught sleeping. But these guys near 3 wide in the back here in turns 3 and 4, able to clear that up. Still 2 wide down the front straightaway. But the top 3 has broke away so far already in the first lap. The Aviator is able to take the point here and lead the first lap. And here we go out of turn number 2. It's the 48, 95, and 42.
Absolutely. 42 CGMX Rose sitting right there, P3, all single file. And then we go back to car 4 and P4, Natty Dread. Usually when we're talking about this guy, it's because he's ended up in somebody's mess or something like that, a little bit further back in the field, but not tonight. This Jimmy John's Ford Mustang looks like he's pretty fast. qualified P5, so he's up one spot, right ahead of the 9 of a more smoke. Stawisky said that Natty absolutely loves Darlington. Well, man, to have that kind of a qualifying effort, I've got to agree with him. Yotes, that 4 is looking pretty stout, no pun intended, right in front of the 9 and then the 18.
Yeah, that 4 is doing amazing so far. You said it. He's hanging out in the back a lot during the regular season. You know, it's crunch time. Playoffs are getting ready to start. He's definitely showing his worth right now. Up to P4, like you said, getting ready to track down the 42. See if he can't do it.
Yeah, top 3 right now, all pretty much nose-tail. Then you got a 4-car breakaway between the 4, the 9, the 18. I believe that's going to be the 12 of Knights sitting inside the top 9. And then old J-Pa back there in that double deuce again. Big Johnny Benson throwback for, you know, what we've all come to love about, you know, the actual Darlington races. They bring it back sometimes, you know, complete eras. And the paint schemes just flat look amazing. A lot of single file already. I mean, I anticipated that we'd get single file, get kind of strung out. Next time the 48 of the Aviator, our leader, comes on by, not only does he have our onboard, but he's going to help us out with lap counts and things like that. It looks like there's 51 laps here remaining in stage number 1. So a long way to go. Expert, Tuesday night you couldn't be here. Last night we saw people really start to get loose on the long run, coming off of 2 and coming off of 4. How long do you think it'll be before we start seeing cars pointing in the wrong direction off those corners?
Well, right now we're already seeing it with the leader of the Aviator. He got caught in the wall off of 4, lost a ton of time, got passed by both the 42 of Rose, the 95 of Jose, and now he has that freaky fast number 4 of Natty Dread all over his back bumper, and Dread already getting loose off the corner. So when you ask, when should we see that? Right now, these seams at Darlington can throw your car for a loop. It doesn't matter what lap it is. It can really put you into a spin cycle whenever it wants to. So these guys are going to have to stay on their toes. It's one of the reasons why this track has been called Too Tough to Tame.
I'll tell you what, we're going to get a big old shout out there right now to this Hertz number 22 driver, the one and only J-Pa, leader of the Xfinity Series here in NNR. He's also an admin on Sunday afternoons with the Shadow Racing League. Helps out Papa Bear in the league that we'll see tomorrow night, all turned down for what. But he also went out very, very early and dropped 22 bits in chat for his own car number, as well as 41 talking about the one and only Dan the Lawn Man. And of course, here comes Mama Vols out there in chat, Papa Bear as well. And it wouldn't be complete if we didn't talk about the one and only Rock NASCAR. Rock out there also, he dropped 500 bits in
contact
there. And just as I say that, 22 of J-Pa went for a spin. So far, I don't see a game caution out. And we talked about the 48 earlier. He's quite a ways back already. He's about 6th or 7th. We'll have to see if they bring the manual caution, as just see the 8 cars Smitty going around as well.
And you're exactly correct, and I do believe we're under caution. Not sure if it's a manual or the game has brought it out. I do believe it is a manual, though. But the 48, he dropped from the lead all the way back to the rear of the field. Not sure what was going on. He kept getting into the wall, so not sure if the car just wasn't handling well. Maybe it's a wheel issue. We're not too sure right now. Hopefully we can get that information soon, but of course it looks like some type of issue for that number 48 Camaro. Let's see if they can get it figured out here in this first round of pit stops and see if these guys can make an adjustment here on pit road.
All right, so not exactly, you know, a long run, but you know, somewhat clean for, well, I would say a good 15 laps there, Expert, give or take. So if you is 15 laps enough time to kind of get a feel of what your car is going to do? Are you looking at mass changes here, or mass improvements to your car? Or you kind of say, you know what, not long enough. I don't want to get too far ahead on the wedge or the tire pressure. What are you thinking here in the first stage or in the first pit?
Well, right here, you're really trying to manage what you have. You know you still have a bit to go. You may have to pit again before the end of this stage. The one thing you want to see is this more the feeling out process. Of course, you want to get up there and get max stage points, but the idea for the first stage is if you're not sure, if you're coming into this race blind, if you weren't allowed to practice in traffic with some of these guys, this is a feeling out process to see what adjustments can be made. This is what I always like to say, is that stages 1 and 2 are the practice for stage 3, because that's where the money's won. That's where the biggest points payout is. Of course, you want to win the stages, but like I said, this is going to be a very experimental period for these guys, and let's see if we get to go green back here.
Yo, Alpha, or no, I'm sorry, not Alpha, excuse me. Yotes, you were out here last night as we're going back green, 4 cars sitting P3 ahead of the 42 and the 95. If the caution came out during that quick, 15 laps or so, what would you do? Would you come on, of course you'd come on down pit road, but would you be looking at mass changes, or do you think that wasn't enough time to really get a feel for your car?
No, I think at Darlington, 15 laps is the exact amount to know exactly how your car is going to feel. And, coming in the pit road, I would be thinking, is my car too tight? If it's too tight, I'm going to loosen up just a little, maybe pump up the right rear so I can get around the corners easier. Or, also, if my car is too loose, tighten it up with the wedge, bring down the right side rears, and allow that car to be able to move around the track, but also be able to get those long runs if needed, if this goes greens the rest of the way.
I tell you what, Expert, in pre-race, I said hello to Parsville. I hadn't really got a chance to talk to him all that much. And Stout Whiskey, whether he was joking or not, he says, Pete, you're going to see that 21 in your top 3 tonight. Here is top 3, long way to go. 43 laps left here in stage number 1. But right now, he's got the 42 and the 95 ahead of him. He's got the 18 of Rowdy right behind him. Two cars back is the 9 of More Smoke, and then that 4 that we were talking about of Natty Dread. If you're the 21, you know that the 18, he can be aggressive at times. You just let him go, let him wear out his stuff, or do you try to hold on to him considering just how much track position really means here at Darlington?
Well, we could see the decision he made. He's really letting these guys go right now, really trying to test out his car, which is not a bad idea. But the one thing you have to keep in mind here is how important track position is and how much time you're losing by letting this happen. You can see the gap that the top 2 has already been able to expand on the rest of the field. And the one thing you have to keep an eye on, especially if you're a guy trying to maintain a front position as caution has come back out once again, but the main thing you have to look out for is, once again, track position. It's going to be so vital and so important here tonight that if it comes down to a late race restart, I'll even say I'd rather take the track position than the tires.
Yeah, track position absolutely key. But if you don't have the tires, if you don't have the resources to keep it up front, you're just going to drop like a rock. And as narrow as the racing line is here at Darlington, you might be looking at more damage, more cautions, more time on pit road, which is ultimately gonna cost you. Yotes, second caution, manual caution in a very, very short time. We saw J-Pie have to impose the single line restart rule last night because of a pretty quick rash of cautions in the Xfinity side. Is it just the track, or do you think people thinking it's the final race in the regular season? Everybody pretty much knows who the top 3 is. As I said, after the race, we'll get a chance to talk to CGMX Rose with the mass amount of points that he's got going into the regular season championship. Of course, Stout Whiskey right now rocking P2, and the 9 of More Smoke sitting 3rd in the regular season championship standings. Nobody's going to be able to catch those 3, and they can't catch each other, so that is how they'll finish. Do you think it's just guys out here having fun?
When I think about it, Darlington is a one-lane track. It's tough to get around, especially with passing. I had that issue last night. It's so hard to get around these cars without touching those white dotted lines on the bottom, because you touch them just a little, they're going to push you back up that track. So you got to sort of get it down there and stick it. And you can see barely 2 cars fit on this lane. So I think it's just the fact that it's a 1-lane track.
Absolutely. Expert 42 CGMX Rose, he's going to be the control car. 95 of Jose to his outside. They were kind of inverted at the original start. 18 of Rowdy, the 9 of Amore Smoke. Take his back green, buddy.
And here we go. You talked about already the 18, how aggressive he can be. Already making his way into P2. Almost went to the outside of the 42 looking for a position. He's going to be all over that back bumper of the 42 as we exit off at turn number 2. These guys already fanning out behind them, and we've seen this time and time again. First and second pull away, and the pack fans out behind them. But the 95 sitting right there in third. He's going to try to catch up to that 18, and the 42 catching clean air. He's saying, see ya, as he looks to set sail. He's going to lead this lap this time by.
Yeah, 42, he's got it. 18 sitting right behind him. A little bit of a gap back to that 95. And then, of course, I just saw the 2-car Stout Whiskey sitting about 3rd or 4th. In fact, just in camera right there, we saw the 9 of Amore Smoke giving him a big old shove. Now it's the 36 of Boehner up on the high side. 2-car Stout Whiskey down low. Something must have just happened with Boehner because I don't see him anymore. He qualified, I want to say it was like dead last, had some kind of an issue with his wheel or his internet. So he qualified last through the cautions and, of course, just the racing group. He's up to about, P number 4 right now. He's got the 9 all over his back bumper, a little bit of a gap. I believe that is back to the 12 of Knights and then the 21 of Parzival. Everybody, one more time, very, very strung out. Nobody wants to say double wide. The only time I'm thinking that they're going to pass is when somebody makes a mistake or somebody's worn out their stuff to be able to go. Coey out there in chat, he just said the first caution was because the Aviator lost connection to his wheel, and the second was on the 4 of Natty Dread. Big ol' hello out there to More Than a Cape as well.
And right now, speaking about, we were talking about it earlier about the Aviator and possibly that being a wheel issue, seeing that being the exact issue right here. And to look back at him in the pack, he's stuck back here. And outside of the top 5, looking to make his way back in, sitting, it looks like about P6, P7, somewhere in there as he's looking to battle his way in the top 5. And once again, this just brings up the issue of this shows how much track position can help you or hurt you. We saw him out there in the lead, and he went all the way to the back of the pack. So he's moving through the field pretty quickly. But as the run goes on, you'll see how much damage that does to his tires. As right now, near 3 wide on the back straightaway for back there in P number 7, it looks like. And that one kind of scared me. As a driver, I can say that one kind of scared me a little bit.
I tell you what, I think that scared the crap out of the 41 and damn the lawman too. You saw him on the bottom, saw the 36 out there. I think his spotter yelled, "What the hell are you doing?" Because he completely jammed on the brakes, backed it up, let the 48 and the 36 go, and he just followed in right behind. I mean, it looked like the 41 came to a screeching halt on that bottom line. Big heads up move by the 41. He gave the positions back, but you know what? He figured, go on. I'll catch up with you guys here in a little bit. Talking about catching up a little bit here, Yotes. 48, he's caught the back bumper of that 9, his good old buddy, Amore Smoke.
Yeah, he caught the back bumper of Amore, but if you look up in the front, who's in the lead? It's the 18 of NNR Rowdy. You know, he had, I believe, the passing last week, racing for, if I can remember correctly, I think it was his grandma.
You got it,
if I'm
yes, sir.
correct.
Yep.
Racing for his grandma at Texas. You know, that's where she was. Right now, he's doing an amazing job keeping this lead. You know, I think he's got a shot if he can keep that 42 behind him. You see they're starting to create a gap between the 95, and I believe that would be the, let me pull it up here, the 95 and the 2. So that gap that they have created, considering all 4 of those were right on top of each other. Great job by NNR Rowdy.
I tell you what, Expert, I was joking around with Rowdy earlier. Him and Aviator were in a stream with CJMX Rose on iRacing, and I was joking around with him. I was like, man, when are you going to get back to victory lane? When are you going to stop being such a has-been? When are you going to prove to the people out there that you're not washed up? I mean, he's a 3-time champ. I pointed out before that he is the reason that there is a rule saying that a Cup driver cannot go down into the trucks and into Xfinity and just dominate and go on to win all 3 championships in the same season. Yeah, this guy right here on screen right now, he did that. So it's good to see him up front in that, well, even if it is a Kyle Busch car, it's good to see him up front leading laps, keeping CGMX Rose in his rear view. I'm sure he'd love to have a little bit more gap, but between those two, they got a good gap back to the 95 and back to the 2 with Stout Whiskey, and then beyond them, it's even a bigger gap past that. So top 4 kind of paired up right now, and then you've got that proverbial hornet's nest a little bit further back.
And you're exactly right. And when it comes to these guys racing up here in the lead, like we were mentioning, NNR Rowdy, how he's been able to string together some impressive performances so far. He led a couple of laps at Texas, now coming here and able to hold off the 42 of Rose at a very technical track. It's so impressive to see what he's being able to do in the later parts of the season. And one thing you asked about earlier is, what are these guys willing to do, this being the regular season finale? Well, you know, whether you're in the playoffs or not, if you know you're in a comfortable spot, you can take some risk. You can go out here and try different strategies to try to put yourself in a winning position. Or you could try to push the issue. You could try to play a little bit more conservative. For a lot of these guys, this can be an experimental race to just go out there and get the win. So expect a lot of guys that we usually don't see up front to go up here and try to snag a win. I'm looking at guys like Boehner. He's done a great job this season. He's having to battle technical difficulties throughout the season, but watch for him to probably put his name up there. I'm looking at Amore Smoke. He's not an underdog by any means of the definition, but he could be a guy. He's been strong throughout the season to go up there. Natty Dread, we talked about earlier. If he can battle through some mistakes, then he could possibly put his name up there. And of course, we talked about it, or Yotes was the one that brought it up. NNR Rowdy still up here in P number 2 and giving that 42 a whole lot of pressure for the lead.
Yeah, Yotes, I tell you, I'm just kind of going through the field, kind of catching up where people are. It seems like the 18 might have had a little bit of an issue with getting tight. I don't know if he's got, whoa, little loose, save it, keep it off that inside wall. Good job by the 18. He lost control. I'm guessing we're getting to that long run now where, you don't want that kind of a scare to where you're coming off the corner and all of a sudden you're seeing the outside wall as you normally should here, and all of a sudden you're seeing that inside wall and you could literally reach out and touch it. You don't want that. Big save, good job by the 18 of Rowdy. Definitely a wheel man. And he only lost what? He only lost one spot in that big old slide. NNR Monster, welcome back, buddy. Hope you're doing well. I thought you were in a race at Bristol. Hopefully nothing bad happened, bud. Yotes, looking at this 22 for J-Pie. He's a little bit further in the back. Has a little bit of damage to the front end of this Hertz Ford Mustang. Hopefully he got collision damage when he rented, because it's kind of banged up a little bit.
Yeah, it's not looking pretty good right now. But, if I was Jay Paul in his shoes, I'd be like, okay, I just got to focus about getting to the end of this stage. I can fix it from there. Damage, not an issue, because he is towards the back. So even if he does come in, take that damage fix, it ain't going to hurt him too bad. You see in the background, you got some cars behind him. He's looking to keep those guys behind him. He's looking to be the first lucky dog if that does pop up to an issue where he's being lapped. We'll have to see how this plays out, but still got to keep that mindset of, I need to stay on this lap. I need to focus about the next stage. Got to get through this one.
Gotcha. Monster out there with the unfortunate news says ran out of quick repairs in that caution fest. I believe he was running in a PSES iRacing race at Bristol, broadcasted by the one and only Frozen Toes. Man, very, very unfortunate, buddy. Sorry to hear it, but gives you a little bit more time to practice up for our practice tomorrow night, Friday night, when the NNR iRacing Series heads to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Not the Roval this time, just the Oval. So we got a few laps under our belt. About 2-3 weeks ago. We're gonna go back one more time as part of this 11 race season. Just still, working out the kinks before we run that long 22-week season, starting off in I believe it's like the middle to beginning of June. So, Monster, thanks for tuning in, buddy. Expert catching up right now with the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man. He's got the 48 of the Aviator right behind him. He went up and smacked the outside wall with his right rear just a little bit. He's got some company, but Dan looks like his car's handling pretty well.
And contact behind him, that's going to allow him to get up to the field. But the pit cycle is already beginning. The 4 Natty Dread heads down. The 2 Stout Whiskey, he's going to head down into pit road. So the pit cycle already starting for these guys. And strategy is going to come into play here. What strategy is going to work out, we're going to see here as the race continues. But just like we mentioned earlier, the pit cycle is starting right now. And these guys' position is going to matter in setting yourself up for your pit road entry.
But I tell you what, right now, the 48 of the Aviator, we were just on him, and there we are back again. As you just saw him come across the start stripe, looks like that's going to go ahead and leave us with just about 16 laps remaining. So a bit more of a long run than what we saw before. And right now, it looks like his right sides, we really haven't talked about tires a whole lot. His right front sitting about 44, his right rear is sitting about 41, so pretty even. His left sides, front left 57, left rear 62, so that will definitely show the car's been doing a little bit of sliding around, but he's wearing all 4 pretty close to even. The left rear, is the highest of them all. Yotes, in your practice and your race last night, when going through your menus, thinking about what you're going to need to go on through, were there any scares in your tire wear last night, or were you just able to run it out on fuel?
I was able to run it out on fuel. By the time I got done, I was about 20-ish% left when I hit 0 on my fuel. So thinking about that, you see these drivers here, you see Rose up in the front, Jose got a killer lead, but the guys behind him could already be thinking ahead. Be like, hey, it's 3 laps, that's all I need to save. Can I get it done? I got to make sure that I don't blow my tires at the same time. That could be what some of those guys in the back are doing currently.
Man, I tell you what, I just watched the 18. Sorry, expert. I just watched the 18 of Rowdy come flat flying into the pits, and man, he was hustling slideways all through turns 3 and 4 down on the apron. If he doesn't make up at least a spot or 2 with the way he just entered the pits, I would be very, very surprised. He was on the verge of just completely looping it. Big props to Rowdy for being able to handle that car down on the apron at those speeds.
You're exactly right, and I want to go back to what Yote said. What's my favorite word? Or what's my favorite phrase, shall I say? Fuel saving. Okay, these guys, and he's exactly right. We've been watching Aviator do it. He knocked it down from being about 3 to 4 laps short to now he's only 2 laps short, even though he made contact right there with the more smoke. He's still been trying his best to save as well, and I'd imagine he's not the only one, as I believe the 42 is still out on track. He has not went down pit road, and from what it sounds like, his engine is not revving until the very exit of the corner. So he could definitely be dropping it down into neutral as well. I would not be surprised to see some of these guys stay out and try to keep these guys trapped a lap down. Either that or try to play some different type of a strategy to try to save fuel. It's definitely not impossible, especially at a track like Darlington, when you can really take these corners just as smooth as possible in neutral. So, I mean, it's definitely not out of the question.
Yeah, Yotes, the 42 CGMX Rose, he was streaming on iRacing earlier. I talked about he's running a Texas race in the Xfinity Series. Here he is out here on track. He's not streaming. He can if he wanted to. Do you think it's so his competition can't watch or can't be told if they're listening to us that what that 42 is doing, that he is possibly jamming it down into neutral with that Fanatec equipment that he has to try to save fuel? We just saw the 12 of Nights to go on by him to go ahead and grab at least his lap back. He's closing up pretty quick on another guy. I think that might be the 41. Not 100% sure either that or maybe the 4 that started off so very, very strong. But Rose, he just crossed that start stripe. There we go. To complete yet one more lap. When next time the 48 comes on by, I'll go ahead and grab a lap count for him, see where he stands. But he's only showing about 8 laps of fuel left in his tank, so he clearly didn't fill up.
Yeah, from previous experiences, I've ran into the issue of needing to save a lap or two. Well, I figured out if I can full-on punch it through the straightaways, and right as you're about to hit that corner, you hit that little neutral, you can coast it all the way around and get almost the same exact lap time as you would slowing it up. So you said it exactly. The 42 could be saving right now. And, with you saying that he's not streaming, this could be the exact reason. He's trying to show, I'm not going to give away my secrets just yet. I'm going to wait for that maybe a little bit later, maybe a little later in the postseason to help other people out for the following season. But yeah, he's doing an excellent job right now keeping that lead.
Expert, I'm going to show you something. If you guys are watching the stream, you're probably not going to believe this. But give me 1 second so I can go ahead and pull this up for you. But let's I got a bunch of stuff up, but that's all right. Here we go. Watch the 48 of the Aviator as he comes across the start stripe right there. Watch his tack on the right-hand side. All the way down to about $2 grand. So very, very clear that he's saving some gas in that Brandt Camaro. So even the Aviator's onto what the 42 is doing as we go ahead and bring that back. Big thank you to the Aviator for allowing us to ride on board with them for laps, as it goes to show we got 5 laps to go, but also strategy.
You know what, Pete? I'm very impressed. I love that, and you got to love Raise Energy for being able to sponsor you and our onboard camera like that. That is really, really awesome. I mean, hey, these guys are staying alert and awake, and I think it's because of some of that good old Raise Energy.
Man, I tell you what, I tried for the first time earlier one of their watermelon frost. My wife got her delivery yesterday. And she told me, says, you're going to have to drink the watermelon ones. I'm not a fan. I was like, all right, not a problem. I opened it up, and I just took a big old swig. I'm normally not one for the energy drinks. Never have been. I didn't like the Monsters. Don't like Red Bull. Don't like any of that. But Vols, our good buddy, he said, you know what? You need to just get a hold of them, talk to them about sponsorship, whatever. I did. They accepted me. They sent me an ambassador pack, which included one of every kind, plus a whole bunch of powders, a shirt, some other swag, like a tumbler that you see sitting up here, and a few other things. And the watermelon frost, it tasted exactly like a Jolly Rancher watermelon candy, or watermelon Jolly Rancher, whatever you want to say. No exaggeration. No, I'm not selling, nothing at all. It tasted just like a watermelon Jolly Rancher. So big kudos to Raise. They've got their flavors down pat. They turned a guy that don't really like them into someone that does. And man, you want to talk about the punch that it gave me? Woo! And they what they say on these in their slogan, the cans and whatnot, no crash afterwards. They're not kidding. But we're going to get back up to the 42 CGMX Rose, coming to the last lap. We've been going on and on about that. Here is Rose at the line. Max points to Rose. Looks like the 2-car Stout Whiskey was trying to run him down and almost would have got there without a doubt. We'll have to see how this actually played out. I know that CGMX Rose was is the stage 1 winner, but because he was saving fuel, not quite sure who else was saving. We'll find out here in just a second. Looks like it's going to be CGMX Rose first. Not sure about second. Haven't got there yet. But Boehner, good finish in P number 3. And more smoke in P4. Aviator that we saw saving gas in P5. Parzival, my Silent Hunter, P6. And it looks like J-Pa. You see him right there, right behind that 42. He was your second place finisher. Stout Whiskey came in 9th, and Natty Dread rounded out your top 10. Good job by all those guys. We're going to take a quick little commercial break, and we'll be right back. Actually, no, we're not. We kind of talked right through that. We only got about 15 seconds left. Unfortunately, those commercials, they take a good 30 seconds. How about one more glimpse here? How about that? Not bad. See those cans? Every single one of them. Amazing taste. All right, I digress. Let's bring it on back up. 42 CGMX Rose. He's going to be your control car. 36 of Boehner to his outside. Expert, take us back green.
Here we go, side by side. Now going into the corner of the 36 of Boehner. He's going to slide right in between the 22 and 42. He's going to slam the door right there on the 3rd place and see if he can get a run on the 42. Rose looking to try to sail away once again, but it's not going to be easy this time. The 36 diving it into the corner. He's going to get that draft, follow the line, and be right in the tire tracks of the 42. But just like stage 1, 42 going to lead lap 1.
Yeah, 42 he's going to be able to lead lap 1. 36 of Boehner right on his tail. 22 of J-Pa. Just saw a little bit of contact between him and the 9 of More Smoke. But J-Pa, even though he went up and tagged that outside wall, he stayed in the throttle the entire time. Able to stay right there. P3, More Smoke, P4. And I believe it's going to be the 21 of the 48 of the Aviator. And then the 21 of Parzival to wrap up your top 6. 95 of Jose looking a little sideways, giving a More Smoke a big old shove down the front stretch. Everybody still nose to tail. Great start so far. 52 laps is going to make up stage number 2. Yotes.
You know, looking from the back of the 42, you can see a lot of cars are already getting loose. But you can see that 22 slowly trying to reel them in, along with the 48 of the Aviator and the 21 of Parzival. When you think about Darlington, this is a track they gotta work together if you want to chase down the leader. Rose is doing an excellent job. Boehner doing an amazing job also staying behind him. I keep your eyes on that 22, 48, and 21, though. They are starting to come up fast.
Yo, Expert, we were all hanging out in pre-race qualifying, the connection test and all that. And Boehner, very, very early today, said that he was going to be able to make it. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's been having some issues, getting his wheel to realize that he wasn't on iRacing. He was having an issue getting it to re-register with the Xbox. So he went ahead and broke out his G920 tonight. And this really looks like the Boehner of old. Up front, very much in contention. He's ahead of the 22. He's ahead of the 48. He's right behind the 42 of CGMX Rose, which has, without question, been the most dominant driver. He's got a 150 point lead over second place Stout Whiskey, and almost a little over 200 back to the 9 of More Smoke. Stout Whiskey, he's no slouch. Neither is the 9 of More Smoke. More Smoke, I think he started off winning like 3 of the first 5 races this year, including the season opener at Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. So for Boehner to be right back up here where he was last year in the championship punt when they came off of Atlanta, the final lap, 3 wide with him in the Aviator and CGMX Rose right behind him. Man, if this is Boehner getting hot really when it matters, even if it means breaking out the older equipment, man, rest of the league might have to look out for this 36.
Correct. He was one of the guys that I said might be an underdog here tonight. Like you said, due to the issues with the wheel previously, he's had some trouble so far this season being able to string together some good performances. Not saying that, nothing against his talent. He's an amazing driver. It's just been tough with those technical issues. But now, like you mentioned here, the old equipment being brought back out, and he looks as competitive as ever. The main goal for him is going to try to catch that 42, especially when it comes to the long run. The one thing that these guys now know, though, is the ability to save and make this a strategy game. It's going to be a big question on who can actually capture that and add that to their repertoire as we head down the stretch here in stage 2 and head into stage number 3. Still a long way to go, and these guys still have a lot to learn as we get down the stretch. Once again, though, you got to keep an eye on the 48 now into 3rd place. He's going to be sneaking up there pretty soon.
Absolutely. Yotes, I got to bring in a number that's very, very near and dear to your heart on that Xfinity side, the Double Deuce Old 22 of J-Pa. We saw his hood all mashed up. His crew did a great job fixing up this Ford Mustang, sitting right now in P number 4. I was actually talking to J-Pa earlier a little bit, and he was practicing qualifying. The last 2 weeks, he's qualified inside the top 5. Been doing very, very well. And as always, anytime he gets a great qualifying start, or qualifying position, rather, he does very, very well in a race. Here he is sitting top 5. He's got the 21 of Parzival right in his back bumper, and then I believe that's going to be the 95 Ream car of Jose 95. Man, J-Pa is actually looking really, really good, looking really racy, staying right on that back bumper of the 48.
Yeah, the 22 is doing an excellent job right now, keeping that top 5. I think, though, he's letting cars occasionally pass him because he's realizing, yeah, it's the second stage. We still got one more to go. I just need to figure out what needs to be done with this car. You said it. You broadcast Shadow Racing League, which he dominated Richmond, short track.
Yep. He's
dominated many short tracks. I think he's just still getting a feel for that car. Stage 3, though, look out for him. He's going to be one of those cars that's going to be deadly.
I tell you what, if he's able to stay right here with the 48, stay ahead of the 21 of Parzival, that's shown to be strong, not really losing a whole lot of time. Just saw the 36 of Boehner up there in that clip. I think he might have just gotten a little loose coming off the corner. 42 CGMX Rose still leads. But Expert, I'm not seeing anybody run away now. I'm seeing the same gap, the same distance between everybody. I think everybody pretty much has a feel for what they needed out of these cars to run these very, very different corners here at Darlington. No severe stripes. We saw one or two smack that outside wall go around, but I think everybody's finally might have found that neutral zone that they're able to navigate this egg-shaped super speedway.
You're exactly right. And when it comes down to these guys with the gap in the top 3 and 4, when you look at that, if that clean air is not helping that 42 like it should be, that should be, that should be putting a huge smile on the face of the 36 of Boehner and the 48 of the Aviator. The 36 is actually eating into that gap that the 42 has. So that says a lot, in my opinion, whether he's saving or not. If that clean air is not helping him like it should, these guys really need to take that into account whenever they're deciding their strategies. Expect it to really change the format, and I think we could see that 36 in the lead here in a few short laps.
Yeah, 36 absolutely hunting. Got a little loose right there. I think that was just basically to steer away from the wall. He's doing the right thing and letting the car drift up, but coming off that turn, you don't want to drift up too high. That is where everybody gets that stripe. It's part of the wall that kicks on out. And yeah, you just saw the 42 of Rose. You could see where he was having to steer it just a little bit more, put a little bit more effort into that wheel. And you saw the front end keep pointing towards that inside. So I'm going to guess that we're getting right back to the point earlier where you're going to start to see the front end continue to go left, the rear end's going to want to kick out, and you're going to have to turn to the right more coming off these corners than to the left. Yotes, in your Xfinity car last night, what was the transition point in laps, or how many laps did it take you to start to feel the transition point from going nice and snug to where you're feeling like Superman around a place like Darlington, to the point of, okay, when are the pits opening, because it's starting to get away from me?
Yeah, I saw that normally happen about halfway through that run to 3/4 of the way. Darlington is one of those tracks that eat up your tires. It's like a cheese grater. It's so tough to maneuver that car. As you can see, the 42 got a little loose, made contact with the wall. Right now, they're just trying to get to the end of their run, because you can do this. You cut about half the stage out, you're going to be able to run the rest of the way, but that's going to require you to get close to, if not all the way out of your fuel, and get the most out of your tires.
Expert, our top 5 has not changed. Still 42 CGMX Rose, the 36 of Boehner, 48 of the Aviator, double deuce of J-Pot, and the 21 of Parzival. We just watched the 42 get either wicked loose, or he just said, you know what, I've had enough. I'm going to go ahead and bring it on down pit road, grab 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods, see what this track has for me. It's not like iRacing where the rubber builds up. If your car is loose, it's going to get loose. It's not going to get snug again, and you're really going to have to deal with what you've got. Since you didn't see the 42 go in right there, he is absolutely feeling it. Next time the 48 of the Aviator comes on by the start stripe, we'll go ahead and grab that lap count. But if the 48's getting loose, the 36 is just waiting to be able to pounce. And of course, you know that means everybody else behind him has seen him start to get loose as well. They're all just waiting for their chance to come on up.
You're exactly right. And what is that? What is that line? I don't know. I hear some type of theme music in my, and it, I think a shark's coming up, something like, I don't know. It's just I don't get these references anymore. Oh wait, here, kitty. That 36 all over the back bumper of the 42, and he is setting up to try to go after the lead. Like I said, that's going to be a battle to look out for, and that 36 looks like he's coming on strong here later in the run. Let's see if that 42 makes another mistake, if he can try to capitalize on it.
I tell you what, and while Boehner sees the 42 have issues, and he still looks like he's pretty straight and narrow coming off the corner, while all that's going on, old 48, old Mr. Two-time Mr. Back-to-back NNR Cup Series champ, he's starting to reel them in. 22 of J-Pot still sitting right there in P number 4, 21 and 95 yet to change positions. But yeah, 36 very, very strong off the corner. Haven't seen any hiccups out of him as of yet. He knows that the 42 is loose. It's just a matter of time. He might just be giving him enough room to go ahead and mess up one more time. And the 36 will be there to take the lead. And then it'll be a transition for him, going from the dirty air off of this Credit One Camaro into the clean air. And will that make his car tight, or will it make his car loose?
And that's going to be the big deciding factor as we get down in this run. And that's also, I'm going to flip that question as well. The 42's had the clean air almost all night here tonight. The question is, how will his 42 Camaro feel once he gets in the dirty air of the 36? It flip-flops for these guys to see, and these setups are going to really show how good they are if that exchange is to occur. Both guys are looking wild, and here we go. Right as we say it, the 42, he gets loose once again. 36 looking to pounce. He goes to the outside. Side by side here in 3 and 4. The 42 looking to come up. 36 still battling hard on the outside, looking to get the run off the corner. A little bit of contact. 42 comes up. He's going to give the room, but he's going to clear back up once again. And right here, that's the 36 just letting him know, I was that close to taking the lead from you.
Yotes, we saw contact like that in the Xfinity race last night. and a couple of lesser people would have lost complete control, smacked up into the outside wall, or spun out, or whatever. But the 42 CJMX Rose, he's got that wheel, he's got that know-how. He is a very, very good driver, arguably one of the best on heat. Boehner's no slouch either. Boehner won a couple of races in the last couple of years whenever 704 or now Motorsports Games did any of those special competitions. So Boehner knows how to get it done. CJMX Rose a multiple time. I think he's got like 8 wins under his belt here. He's also the 704 Winter Series champion. So, man, you put these two together with the 48 right behind him, and, man, you've got an all-star top 3, to say the least.
Yeah, there's a reason this 42 is a pro heat driver. He can manage to have moves like that and save himself. As I say that, the 36 got a little loose. Looks like he may be trying to pull it down pit road. But the car that's been set for the longest runs without having the issues has to be the 48 of the Aviator. We've seen it happen time and time. Right now, though, he is keeping that car straight out of the corners. Unlike that 42 and 36, competing battle against each other allowed that 48 to get some room on him. But now with everyone starting to come down pit road, we'll have to see what that 48 does with his car to see if he shortens it up for a short run or if he makes it a long run.
Oh, no, he is absolutely taking this thing slideways all the way through turns 3 and 4, down on the apron, very, very close to the commitment line, down to about 45, 50 miles per hour. Take his trip down pit road. We'll have to see exactly how much one lap on Freshies really makes a difference. There's the 4-car Natty Dread. You see the 42 CJMX Rose right in front of him. I want to think that's going to tell me that Rose sped going down pit road. Well, maybe. There's the 36 right in front of him. They came out together, and looks like 48 and yeah, there's more and more going down pit road. We have officially hit the next green flag round of pit stops.
And with these green flag, with this race currently going green, we'll have to see how some of these cars shape out. We saw it with the 42. He started getting loose a little bit halfway through his run. Well, it looks like, if I've done this right, the tires and the fuel get you about halfway to the end of the stage. So with those guys that maybe came down and picked up the exact amount of fuel they needed versus getting the 2 cans, is that going to make them faster around the track? Because that is one thing that Motorsports Games got down was, putting more fuel in is going to allow the car to drag a little more down. Less fuel is going to allow it to fly around the corners. We'll have to see, but I believe the 42 now out back in the lead.
40, I don't think whoa, more contact, 48, wow, 48 completely to the inside of the 12, although Knights probably would have said that was to his outside. Man, big issue right there. Knights able to woe it up, come on down to pit road, get this number 12 Menards Ford fixed up, fueled up, get some fresh rubber on there, and get back out on track. Right now, I can tell you that wherever the 48 is where our leader is. It's actually going to be the 8-car of NNR Smitty, or Fort Smitty, we'll say, sitting right behind him as he goes down pit road. He is one of the last to bring his car down to the attention of his crew. And as you can see on the front end of this Cat machine, a little bit of damage to that right front. He'll be spending a little bit of extra time, but hey, it could have been worth it. If caution was to come out, he could have kept multiple cars a lap down. Come on down, it would have suited him just fine, and we'll have to see how the rest of the stage plays out. As the 48 comes back up on track, gets back into the mix. He sits P4, coming across the start stripe. Let's see. We're now seeing 20 laps to go here, expert.
Yeah, and right now it's going to be a big question. Rose able to get a great pit entry, great pit stop. He's going to break out to about a 3-second lead over the rest of these guys. But the big question for the 42 and 36 is they are expected to be about a lap short on fuel. Now, you may be thinking, no biggie, they can save that easily, but the one guy that can make it's that 48. He does not have to save one bit. So the big question for these guys is, can they save that one lap without losing that much time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we saw CJ Rose and the Aviator, well, obviously, clearly the Aviator saving a whole bunch of time, and Fuel throwing that car down into neutral and literally coasting until he felt the nose of his Camaro set, and then he got back on the gas, revved it up, and was able to clear out. 18 laps to go, 48 of the Aviator right now behind the 36 of Boehner. He's going to try the outside. Boehner's going to go ahead and let him have it. And not quite sure who that is behind him, but that puts the 48 of the Aviator up inside P number 2. Boehner now back to P number 3. And I believe that's going to be the 2 of Stout Whiskey right now being P4 and Jose 95 rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, looking at the 48, you see he's got such a huge gap off that 42. Is to the 48, does the 36, do they turn around and try to work together, see if they can't run him down? But like you said, that 48's a lap short on fuel, which is easy to save. We'll have to see if the 42 may have done that, because looking at our onboard, he has about 36 laps is what he was able to get out of originally on the last fuel stop. I could be wrong. It could have been about 25-ish, may have cut that straight in half, but you can throw the 48, 36, and 2 under a blanket right now. They are just chugging along, seeing if they can't catch that 42.
Well, I'll tell you what, the expert, the 42, CJ Rose, he came in 1 lap before the Aviator. So if the Aviator is going to be 1 lap short, that means the 42 is going to be 2 laps short. And all their efforts at trying to save just a little bit of gas could have failed. We'll have to see. I'll keep an eye on the stream of the Aviator, again, our one and only onboard, to see if he does in fact start throwing it into neutral, going into the corner, or if he shows me his menus and shows me that he's good to go, or that he might be half a lap or 1 lap short. We'll see as time goes on. Right now, 14 laps to go. Just saw someone spin out there on the in the middle of the backstretch. That looks like that car was all by themselves. We should stay green though, expert.
You're exactly right, and we're talking about all this great action that NNR is providing, a lot of great fuel strategy racing, and how these guys have been able to perform tonight. Another great thing about NNR, we haven't talked about it tonight. How can we not? The great, probably my favorite website, NNRleague.com. All the information you can have about this league, from points, from schedules, from drivers, from anything you want to know about NNR, you can find it on that website. And you know what my favorite thing on that website is, Pete? The Zazzle tab. The fastest coffee mugs, the best shirts. You can get decorative items such as license plates, stickers, a full assortment of items from both the iRacing and console side of NNR. And there's only one place to get it, NNRleague.com.
That's right. NNRleague.com is watching the 18 of Rowdy get loose and just flat smash that inside wall. He broke just about every M&M inside that bag. So pretty unfortunate for the 18. He was up front early, led a few laps. Now he's got to go in and fix this box, see if it can hold just a little bit more. But very, very unfortunate for that 18. Still going to work our way through. I apologize, guys. I'll try to get that link to NNRleague.com out there as soon as possible. It looks like part of that, or for some reason, that closed out on me, and I wasn't able to pull it up right there. But I'll get it out there as soon as I possibly can. Still working our way through the field. Yotes right now driving along with that FordParts.com number 21, the one and only Parzival.
Yeah, Parzival's doing an amazing job right now. He's got people in front of him looking to track down that 22 and 9. He's got the 41 behind him, but not applying enough pressure to really worry about him. The 21, he's been really strong since the beginning of this race, sort of hanging out now, seeing, possibly if a caution does come out, pushes them back together. He could just be hoping that he can make it to the end of the stage with the fuel since we had that issue. We'll have to see what happens, although that 42 still looking strong out in that lead.
Shadow out there in chat thinking he can screw me up if he asks where J-Paw's at in Spanish. Well, here you go, buddy. Talking about Unforgotten Shadow and Shadow Racing League. We will be back on Sunday afternoon right around 5:30 Eastern to pick up that series. Man, we are, going into our 4th race in the regular season. And, man, the race for that pair of tickets down to Daytona is as strong as ever. Nobody running away with the points. We've had a couple of different winners. Very, very strong field. I'm still looking forward to the end of August where we get to head on down to Daytona, watch a race, hang out with some new friends that we've all met here through Xbox. Expert, you'll be there with your family. I'll be there with my missus. J-Paw will be there with his girlfriend. Alpha York will be there with his missus. Rock NASCAR will be there. Vols will be there with his missus. I mean, there's going to be a great time. There's going to be a party in Daytona, and I already know right off the cuff, I've got to bring at least $150 to $200 alone for that very first visit to the Bud Light beer tent. It's going to be interesting, but man, it's going to be well worth it getting to meet all you people. Some of you for the very first time, others for looking forward to seeing you again.
And it's going to be a lot of fun, like you mentioned, going down there. But, Shadow can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you talked about where we're going Sunday. We were there just a few weeks ago for NNR, and, this catchy song, just, all my exes live in Texas. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You're making
with
my
those
ears
guys.
bleed. Please don't do that again. Yo, save me!
Oh, Lordy.
Pete, I don't think there's much that I can save you on there.
Oh,
Hey,
man, big battle right now. I'm going to do it myself. Big battle right now. I just saw it. I'm going to try to get back to it. Pretty good side by side. There it is between the 48 of the Aviator and the 12 of Knights. Knights was down low. Aviator able to carry that momentum up high. Now that's just going to stay stuck in my head. Thank you very much. And behind the 48, he's got a string of about 5 or 6 cars. So Aviator's still running strong. And he still sees that 42 CGMX Rose up there in the lead. Definitely want to thank everybody that just now joined. Welcome to the home of NNR. Go on up. Make sure you smash that follow button. We keep it real every Tuesday through Thursday. Tuesday night is the NNR Truck Series, right around 9:30 Eastern. Next week we start our playoffs. The first track we're going to go to out of the 6-track playoff round is going to be Phoenix. Very, very different from here. Very flat. Very, very different in order to carry through. And it's also one of their tracks where you have to watch that right front and watch that right rear sliding into the corner, trying to gas it up to come off. And, no better place to make sure you show up and have a great run, get a great launch, and build a little bit of momentum for the remaining 5 races after that to go towards that championship, Yotes.
Yeah, Phoenix is a tough track. It does come down the tires, but man, being out here in Phoenix, it makes me hot. It makes me thirsty. And man, I love drinking some of that Raised Energy. So good, so delicious, keeps you hydrated, can give you energy to get you through the day. Man, especially using code REPEAT, you get some % off, especially at checkout.
Oh, I tell you what, I think you might be talking about these cans right here, up on screen. The strawberry colada, the grape bubble gum, the sour gummy worms, the Phantom Breeze, the guava mango, and that amazing watermelon Jolly Rancher flavored Rays. Absolutely no sugar, no nothing like that bad for you. Whole lot of punch though, I can promise you. Looks like as I get back to Aviator Stream, Caution is out. Looks like that's going to be the end of stage number 2. We're going to take that quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey NNR fans, don't miss any of the action by following or subscribing to Repeat's Twitch channel. Turn on notifications and you'll always know when the best preset league on Xbox hits the track. Check out his YouTube channel too to see all of NNR's past races. Follow No Name Racing as well as Repeat 1975 and others on Twitter, and you'll never miss any of the action.
Expert, we are going back green. 42 CGMX Rose at the point. 48 of the Aviator. He was trying to track him down. Well, now's his chance. He is right to the outside. There's more than a cape out there saying, no, Pete, stop pushing your product on me. Pusher Man. I tell you what, that's one hell of a song by Steppenwolf back in the day, Pusher, but nothing like that. Nothing bad gets pushed by me. Go on out, go to either GNC or the vitamin shop. Pick yourself up a can or 2 of Rays. In fact, you know what? I'll do you one better. You go out, you pick up 2 cans, send me a picture of you, the store clerk, and those 2 cans of Rays, and I'm going to send you a $15 gift certificate right through the mail. How about that? I'm going to up that ante. John Fry Dog, what's happening? Good to see you, sir.
And you know, Cape talks about don't push your product on him. You know what? How about we push his product on everybody else? Be sure, guys, to check out his website along with his foundation there at morethan-a-cape.org. If you read the story on there, if it doesn't tear at your heartstrings, I have no idea what to tell you. But be sure to also go check out a shop. Make a donation. This all goes to pediatric cancer patients and their families to make sure they're taken care of so they don't have to worry about a thing while they are going through that extremely tough fight. So be sure to go over there and check that out and show them some support. They also have some great products over there as well, being shirts, hats, and a bunch of different things as well. So be sure to go check them out as well. You certainly do not want to miss out on the opportunity to go support them.
Man, it's an absolutely worthy cause. Go read up on TJ's story. Man, it like Expert just said, if it doesn't tear at your heartstrings, you may want to rush to the ER, to the urgent care, or to doctor, whatever. Get your pulse checked. Fry Dog out there saying he's got to leave early in the morning, head to Nevada for his daughter's softball tournament. Fry Dog, not quite sure how far Nevada is, but when you're talking about going to a state for a softball tournament, that's some kind of dedication. What a good dad you are. Top 5, though, Yotes, getting away. CJMX Rose, the 48 2-car stout whiskey, 95 of Jose, and look at that. There's that 36 of Boehner sticking around in that top 5. A continuous threat all night long.
Yeah, you know, you said it best. The 42 has been dominating since the beginning of this race. But don't look now, but that 48, 2, 95, and 36 are hot on his trails. This 42's been out in the lead pretty much the entire time. It's been nice, calm, cool, and collected. But man, if he's not feeling like some sort of heart racing, seeing those 4 behind him, I don't know what to tell you, because those guys are coming up fast. We'll have to see if they can attempt to make a pass around the 42 as we're still going. Stage 3 underway.
Yeah, stage 3. Cape says a 3-hour tour, although I doubt on his way there he's going to get lost at sea and end up shipwrecked somewhere. If you're old enough to kind of get what I'm going on, you're old enough to be gray like me. But this is the first time I've seen the 42 with CJMX Rose up front and getting a little out of sorts, if you could say, Expert. He hasn't had the 48 hot on his tail. He hasn't seen the 2-car stout whiskey right on the 48's tail either. 2-car. I asked Stout in the beginning of the race. I said, and you guys were both there. I said, so Stout, what can we expect out of you tonight? He goes, Pete, I don't think it's going to be all that much. kind of bad here. Well, yeah, look at his discount tire Deuce sitting in P number 3. 48 of the Aviator getting a big old shove from him, and the 42 CGMX Rose, he is driving with a mirror full of Brant right now.
And the one thing that you have to keep an idea of when you see these guys racing like that, the 48 putting so much pressure on the 42, you got to remember, what did the 48 have in comparison to the 42 last time? He had such a better long run car, and he knows it, and that's why he's putting the pressure on that 42. He wants to try to get that 42 to wear his stuff out, to make the long run come quicker to him and let him get into his wheelhouse. And I can see that 48, if this run keeps going, that 48 is going to make a move for the lead.
Yeah, 40, I can't get over Fry Dog picking Love Boat instead of Gilligan's Island. I'm just sitting here laughing. You're probably looking at, watching me on camera, and I just can't do it. No, buddy, it was absolutely Gilligan's Island. Skipper, Marianne, Ginger, Mr. and Mrs. Howell. Of course, come on. Yeah. Go buzz that bald head. But top 5 right now absolutely starting to skate away. They've got this drafting going here, Expert. Top 5 just staying right in line. 42 CGMX Rose, one of the best leaders in Heat 5, one of the best leaders here in the NNR Cup Series. The 13 of Lucky Dog, he's not out here tonight. I'm sure he'd be up inside this top 5. But man, these guys, they have absolutely left the 22 of J-Pa and the company that he's got right behind him. They're going to try to settle this. They're going to try to settle this race amongst themselves. I'd like to see somebody actually move that 42 out of the way. They've got about 55 laps more to do it in. But man, they're clicking them off in a hurry.
And me and Aviator, we joked about before, back when we raced a few races together when he was running in the Shadow Racing League, and we were able to race together. I joked about how I'd make aggressive moves and he'd really not give it back to me like any aggressive racing, and he's very respectable. But the one thing that we've seen time and time again so far this year is it seems like he's had races taken away from him. One that comes in mind was Gateway, him and Lucky Dog racing, and that very contact-filled finish, might I say. I'm gonna go ahead and say that kind of took a win away from him. So what I'm waiting to see is possibly that 48 show a little bit of aggressiveness and see if he can try to go up here and battle his way into victory lane, as I believe we're under caution.
Yeah, under caution. The 18 of Rowdy lost it. He collected the 4-car Natty Dread, and that all happened just as the 9 of Amore Smoke came on by. And, you talked about NNRLeague.com and the Zazzle tab. I think we'll go ahead and take a moment, show you all that, and then, yeah, we'll be right back in 30.
Hey NNR fans, are you looking for a way to rep your favorite NASCAR Heat preset league on Xbox Live? Look no further. Just go to NNRLeague.com, scroll down to the Zazzle tab, and see what we have to offer. From t-shirts to hoodies to clocks, we have everything you need to show your support. Thanks for being the best fans, and we hope to see you at the track repping that NNR red.
All right, Yotes, we are riding on board with the 95 of Jose. 48 of the Aviator, 2 is outside. 2-car of Stout Whiskey is your new control car, able to beat the 42 of Rose out of the pits. So Stout, for the first time, he's got that deuce in the clean air. That discount tire Ford. A little bit of a push to the 42. 42 is going to have to fall back, where Stout's going to say, man, I'm sorry. You go ahead and take it. 42 is going to be able to get by. 48 of the Aviator is going to try to fill that hole, but the 2's got a whole lot of momentum on the outside. Here they are now 2 by 2 from second on back to at least 5th. But everybody racked and stacked back up one more time here at the Lady in Black. Yotes, looking at that 95 right now, he's got a mirror full of your double deuce. Old J-Pa says you're the best car in the 22. What do you think about the job that J-Pa's doing tonight?
J-Pa's doing an excellent job. You said it. He's I gotta say, but he is the better 22. He says I am. I don't think so at all. J-Paw puts on a show every week for these drivers. And man, he's applying pressure. You see the 2 goes into the wall. It looks like he may have made contact with the 36 of Banner. But, you know, looking at that 22, he has the speed for it. But if you remember stage 1, it had to come down to saving that extra few laps of fuel. If it does come down to that, I can see that 22 up in the lead. If they can run down that 42, man, it's going to destroy his gas. That 22 is going to have a shot at it. But right now, sitting in P number 5, looking for more.
Yeah, sitting P5, Expert, Unforgotten Shadow. He says he's out there. He's like Swerve and Marlin trying to watch the stream, but he's all over the road. Shadow, get your eyes back on the road. NNR will be here. I promise you, I'll be here for you on Sunday when we get back to Texas Motor Speedway. You keep your eye on the road. You drive safe. You be safe, sir. And yeah, we'll talk to you, or buddy, you can just go ahead and connect it to your Bluetooth system in your car and just flat listen. I promise we'll give you the best possible description we can of everything that happens. And just as I say that, the 9 of Amore Smoke, while riding on board with him, went up and plowed that outside wall. Now he has the 4-car Natty Dread behind him, 21 of Parzival, as well as the 18 of Rowdy in front of him. Expert, they're all back to single file.
Yeah, and the big concern for these guys is the gap between CGMX Rose and the 36 of Boehner. These guys are really going to have to push to try to go catch him and get that gap under control. Now we're within, I believe, nearly 40 laps to go. We're going to get a lap count this time by, but these guys are going to be around 40 laps to go as we head through this run. So it's going to leave a big question on strategy. When do you come in? We know these guys can make it on one more pit stop. The question is, when is that pit stop going to be?
Yep, as you just mentioned, 44 laps remaining. So, double fours. And, man, could it be the car that's in 4th place right now? That 48. Hey, talk about double fours. 4 and 4 is 8. 48. Never mind. I'll just leave that be. But yeah, 48 of the Aviator right now sitting in P4. He's got a couple pretty quick cars in front of him. He's got the Toyota of Jose 95, 36 of Boehner sitting in front of him. None of these guys have really been slouches, but it looks like with a whole lot of distance up to that 42 CGMX Rose. Earlier, when there were 5 of them, they were able to pull away, get a gap back to the next car, which at that point was J-Paw. Right now, J-Paw again is that next car. Can he pull himself up? He's been pretty fast tonight to try to get that 5-car tango wound up and run that 42 back down. We'll have to see. If they do, that 5th car would be the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man, as we watch the 48 try to look inside the 95.
You know, looking back, you said it, Pete, earlier. You know, when it comes down to fuel, who's going to make that bold move? My prediction is the first person that makes that bold move, comes down pit road very first, is going to be your leader. Because we saw it happen last time. You know, CGM Rose came in a lap earlier than everyone else. He had such a great gap coming out of that pit road that just completely sealed his deal for that race. For that stage, my apologies. We'll have to see if he can do it again, or maybe someone else tries to take that bold move and push themselves up to the front. Because pit road, because my apologies. I can't even think of it, but yeah, it's gonna happen soon.
I tell you what, Expert, watching the 36 of Boehner come flying through the corners. I know the corners here are very, very different from Dover. But the way that he's getting through and the way that he's actually starting to run down the 42 CGMX Rose, it's kind of reminiscent of the way that Boehner was really moving through the corners at Dover just a few weeks ago. It'll be interesting to see if Boehner runs him back down. 48 of the Aviator right now sitting in P number 3, as it looks like the 42 may have just realized what was going on. He's trying to stretch that back out. I'm hearing a little bit of fan or something like that from one of you guys, or maybe just a little bit of feedback. But man, these guys, this is no Sunday drive for any of these guys. Okay, that feedback's gone.
Okay.
Yep, you got me now, expert.
Yeah, I got you. And I mean, you're exactly right. But one thing you were talking about how it's reminiscent of Dover. One thing I like about turns 1 and 2 here is it reminds me a lot as contact in the back. Actually, hold that thought. The 9 of them more smoke and more. The 41 now involved, and I do believe that's going to be more cars involved. I think the 18 of NNR Rowdy involved as well, and we are back under caution here at Darlington.
Yeah, Rowdy loose off the corner one more time. He's going to bring out one more caution. That's going to bring 38 laps to go, and they can only get about 23 to a tank. So everybody's going to have to pit one more time, and it should be right about time where they'd actually have to anyway. So we'll have to see. We're going to go ahead and rack and stack them back up one more time. Got about 10 seconds remaining. 42 CGMX Rose, 36 of Banner, 48 of the Aviator, 95 of Jose, double deuce of J-Pa, and then you put that 4 car, there's that 4, Natty Dread, up inside the top 6, it's solidly inside the top 10 one more time. 21 of Parzival looking for a line underneath that 4, and it looks like Banner didn't quite get the start that he needed. 48's going to be able to get underneath the 36. 36 bounced off the wall. Everybody trying to avoid that 36. Everybody's going to be able to get by clean for the most part. We should stay green. Didn't see him wreck out. Good hands by most.
And you're exactly right. Those guys being able to fan out and dodge that disaster, that's heartbreak for the 36. He's able to get up here and be competitive like that thought I was having earlier when you questioned about how he was running the corners. And the 42 into the wall up here in the lead. That's going to open the door for the 48. He's going to block, though. He's going to get the 48 the outside, but he's going to slam the door on an inside run. Here comes the 95, taking advantage of that loss of momentum by the 48 because of that block. 95 is going to try to make an inside move. 48 holding strong on the outside. He's going to be able to clear once again. But that 42 aggressively blocking once again to be able to hold on to that lead. I mean, he's made a few mistakes here tonight, but it's been so impressive how he's been able to hold on to it and make sure that doesn't lose him the lead.
Yeah, 42, he absolutely stalled every bit of momentum that the 48 had, and the 95 did everything he could to try to capitalize on that, but in the end, Jose, very, very well known for his clean driving. He let the Aviator have that spot back, didn't challenge too much on the inside, knowing that might force the 48 to go higher than he would have wanted to and could have possibly caused a wreck. And Yotes could have completely taken out the entire field since they're still somewhat close as, right after the green flew. Looking back, see that bright yellow Hertz Ford sitting in P4. That is J-Pie right back inside the top 5. Only 30, what is that? Yep, exactly 30 laps to go. Got some stayers in the front. You got some new people up there as well. Who's it gonna be? Yotes, any ideas?
When I think about it, I would love to pick that 22, but Luke, who has now appeared back towards the top 6, the 4, he has made his arrival back. He's getting closer to the front of the pack. You saw it at the beginning. He was good. He was up there until his little incident that happened. But if you're also looking back there, the 48 of the Aviator, he's been able to keep up with the 42 of Rose since this happened, and especially when he made contact with that 36 of Banner, it screwed him up a little, pushed him back. But after that 42 made the mistake, this 48's been all over him.
Yeah, 48 has so far, he's not letting go of the 42's back bumper. He's falling back maybe a half a car length to a car length at most. 95 of Jose, a little bit further back. 22 of J-Pa, and there is that 4 car of Natty Dread you just talked about. He is hunting that bottom line underneath the 22. J-Pa up slightly. Not quite sure if he made a whole lot of contact with the wall. Looks like the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man. He's going to go ahead and follow him underneath that double deuce. Move that Jimmy John's, oh, Mr. Where did he come from? Up to P4. Very, very solid run for the one and only Natty Dread. Next victim is going to be the 95 of Jose. We'll have to see if Jose's got anything to hold him back. And furthermore, Expert, we'll have to see if the 4's got anything to try to get up there with the 48 and the 42.
And that's going to be a big question. These guys having to fan out once again. The 41 making contact with the wall, but that 4 making his way now into P number 4. He's looking to chase down that 95. Of course, the 22 of J-Paw, the 21 of Parsville, the 18 of Rowdy, who's still going to be one down. I do believe he's sitting back there as well. So a bunch of guys still up here, a lot to battle for. But the one thing to keep in mind, these guys can make it on fuel now. So if this stays green, it's going to come down to who's fast on the long run. And the guy that I think's had the best long run car all race, he's sitting right there in P2.
Yeah, Aviator has absolutely been very, very strong on the short and the long run. Like I mentioned, not letting go of that 42 at all. Fry Dog, buddy, I apologize I missed it earlier, but thank you very much for the 200 bits, 100 at a time that you put out there. Thank you very, very much. But Expert, what I'm guessing maybe I missed something, but they've got about 26 laps. They only get about 23 to a tank. So everybody will have to pit unless Boehner's got that shifter. We've seen the Aviator using that shifter. Of course, the 42, CJ Rose, he could back it down. Maintaining the gap and managing his equipment. Can they possibly try to stretch that out? Maybe, but everybody will have to pit one more time.
Actually, these guys actually have more than enough fuel to make it to the end. I think you're thinking about the Xfinity cars. These guys had about 35 laps of fuel when we went back green. Now looking at Aviator as he makes contact with the wall, he's about 2 to 2.5 laps good on fuel. So right now, fuel strategy is actually out the window. It's just who's going to be able to manage their equipment and their tires as we get through the long run.
Well, maybe it's something that I saw. Maybe the 48, the Aviator, when I followed him down pit road, maybe he only took partial can because I saw 23 laps off of what he took. But I don't recall right now whether or not he took 2 full cans. We'll have to see. Bird Box, thanks for coming out, hanging out, chatting it up. Not quite sure what you mean by can you join. This isn't a public lobby, if that's what you mean. This is the NNR Cup Series live from Darlington. Definitely welcome to hang out and keep up with Fry Dog and Rock NASCAR and More Than a Cape and anybody else that's out there. Feel free, go on up, smash that follow button. If you haven't already, make sure you leave notifications on. That way you know every time these guys go live, Tuesday through Thursday on the Xbox, Monday and Friday over on iRacing, and of course Saturday with Turn Down for What, and Sundays with the one and only Shadow Racing. It's a very, very busy channel, very, very busy leagues, and a whole lot of great racing. Yotes riding around right now with the 9 and the 2. Those guys are just a little nose to tail. 2-car stout whiskey looking like he got a little loose, or he might have gotten a little bit of contact from the 9 of a more smoke. We'll have to see if anybody starts planning on coming down pit road anytime soon. Next time by, when the 48 passes the start stripe, I'll grab a lap count, and what do you know, that's now 19 laps to go.
Yeah, going back to Expert, if they do make it through on a full fuel run, we saw it happen last night. The 8 of Combat Beast actually blew a tire on the last lap. Could that have anything to play with this? As you see, the 22 and the 4 looked like they went around. They may have made contact as the 2 and the 9 managed to get around them. Looks like no caution has been called. We'll have to see if a manual flies, but
you called it.
There you go.
Yeah, you called it. Now, Expert, what you just said about being able to go the distance, they're on lap 167 of 184. Now, if the 48 only took enough gas before to go 23 laps, which I'm guessing was probably the end of the stage or something like that, it's been quite a while now, I would imagine everybody right here, 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods, fill it up with just what they need. If they were already good to go on fuel, don't take any more. Keep that keep that car nice and light. let those tires grab all the grip you need. But Yotes, by the way, you ran this race last night. As the car gets loose, you get loose. You're on four Eagle Feel Goods, but you don't have the same weight. What do you have to adjust on this stop right now so you don't go around when it really matters?
You know, I find pumping down the right side tires just a little, give you that extra grip. Yes, it will wear out just a little more, but with the fact that some of these guys don't need to fill up on fuel, they should be just fine. We'll have to see, though. Although looking at the Aviator, he came down. He had about 20 laps fuel estimated left with 18 to go. You know, did other people make that same move? We'll have to see. Getting closer and closer to the end of this race. 42, though, still in the lead.
You called that exactly right. 42 CGMX Rose. He's going to be able to hold serve right behind him. You got the 21, My Silent Hunter. And oh, by the way, Stout Whiskey said this guy would be in the top 3 tonight. With Stout Whiskey looking in that crystal ball that he's got. Man, I got to tell you, might have to bug Stout Whiskey for some lottery numbers later, maybe. Who knows? But the 48 of the Aviator, he's going to restart in P number 3. 95 of Jose 95 to the outside. And then the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man, he's going to restart P5. The 9 car of Amore Smoke. P6, 36 of Boehner, 22 of J-Pa. Here we go one more time. Man, Expert, take us green one more time, sir.
And here we go once again. Within 20 laps to go, the 48 going to try to make a move below the 21, and he's going to be able to clear himself. It's back 42, 48 back out front. These guys fanning out all down the backstretch. 3 nearly 4 wide in the back now, 2x2 for some rows. The 41 checking up these guys in the rest of the top 5. So these guys getting real racy back in the back. But here we go, back to the lead though. 42 and 48 still looking to pull away from the rest of the pack once again and make it a 2-man show to see who can win this one. Of course, a long ways to go as we're just within 15 laps to go, coming to 14 this time by, but these guys looking to make it a one-on-one race here, as these guys have been able to be the 2 most dominant cars. But of course, that does not slam the door on anybody else hopes and dreams of winning this race. We still have a long way to go.
Yeah, long way to go. Short time to get there, to quote an old Jerry Reed Bandit song. But man, yeah, 42, 48, they are nose to tail. 41, Dan the Lawn Man, is now sitting P3 with a little bit of a gap back to the 95. And then the 9 of Amore Smoke, he's going to be able to creep right in front of the 2 cars. Stout Whiskey. Behind Stout, you see that bright orange Hertz Ford Mustang of J-Pa. Man, what a field. Whole lot of very, very hard racing. 36 of Boehner now finds himself a little bit further in the back with the 4 of Natty Dread, which has absolutely shown promise. I think if he can get through some traffic, he might be able to pick up a spot or 2. But man, top 6. You got the 42, 48, you got the 41, and 3 more right behind him. You got the 22 and the 36 sitting right here, and then the rest of the field. So very, very strung out for just taking the green flag. What, maybe 3 laps ago? As Aviator comes across the start stripe, we'll go ahead and see what we got left. Riding on board right now, though, with the 36, looking to try to get inside the 22. 4 cars going to try to follow through in that open hole. 22 is going to come on down, slam that door shut with a little bit of momentum. He's also going to try to take that momentum off the high side. Nothing doing, though. He's kind of stalled out all over the back bumper of the 36. We're going to move ourselves back up a little bit in this pack. See exactly who's where, who's gaining, who's losing. Right now, 48, he's kind of lost a little bit of touch with the 42's back bumper, but kind of, he's still got 3rd and all a bit more distant in his rear view than he saw them before. 1st and 2nd right now, they got to feel pretty confident here, Expert, that they're going to finish at least this way. They've got these 2 positions locked down. Question's going to be who's going to take 3rd.
And that is a big question, but the door is still wide open. We're still in a range of we can get a caution, we can go to overtime. So, of course, the door is still wide open for this race. If you think this one's over, do not click off the channel yet. Right now, of course, a lot of great battles going on. The 41 of Dan the Lawn Man sitting right there in P number 3, the 9 of More Smoke right behind him. Then you have the pole sitter in 95 of Jose. He's sitting right there back in P5, and of course Stout Whiskey, he's sitting there in P6. So a lot of guys still up here and can compete for a competitive position. And like I said, we still have a ways to go. Do not think this one is over by any stretch of the imagination, as once again that 48 trying to find somewhere to go up there and catch the 42 of Rose.
I'll tell you what, the 48 of the Aviator, he has been very, very strong on the lead, on the long run. I would actually hazard to say probably just a little bit better than the 42 of Rose. We've seen Rose get a bit squirrely, but is 19 or 20 laps enough of a long run to see that happen, to where we might actually get that old Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch finish from years past, where they're side by side, they're banging and beating, and rubbin's racing, or so they say. Are they in that kind of position to where we'll get that kind of finish? Who knows? 42 CGMX Rose still leads, 48 still there, but the rest of them kind of losing a little bit of ground.
Looking back in the back, you see the 41, but you see the 9 in his mirror. This 9, he made a little contact with the wall, but man, is he running him back down again. This 9 went in the right direction with his adjustments. We'll have to see, though, if it pans out, if it hurts him in the long run. But right now, he's doing amazing. Up to P4, looking for P3rd. And that 48 looks like he's slowly falling back just a little bit.
48 might be slowly falling back, but I tell you what, one guy that's not falling anywhere is this 41 of Dan the Lawn Man, having a positive points night tonight. And I got to tell you, last year, Dan the Lawman, he must have taken that as a learning year, because his progress this year since switching from the 35 over to this 41, he's a bit of a teammate, I guess you could say, with the 22 of J-Pop, with the 2-car Stout Whiskey. J-Pop put 22 bits out there in chat for his car number, as well as an additional 41 for this guy right here. So Dan the Lawman, he hasn't had to worry about any grass issues or anything like that. He's just had to worry about navigating this very, very tight single car line around this lady in black. So far, she's reached out and bit the 18 of Rowdy a couple times, as we see a battle for P3 right now between the 9 of More Smoke and that 41 of Dan the Lawn Man.
And right here, something you talked about, the battle back there for P3. It is really heating up. Those guys near 2x2 for 2 rows deep. All these guys going crazy. And I believe that's going to be the 95 of Jose. He gets loose after some contact off the corner. He's going to drop to the back of that group. So these guys get single filed out once again, but it's coming down the stretch, coming to 2 to go. This time by that 42, still with a big lead there over the 48. The 48's been trying to close little by little, but the time has just ticked away from him, as we're going to hit the white flag this time by. These guys know that the time is ticking down for them, and they really have to pull out all the stops right here. The 42 just knows he cannot make a big mistake here as we hit white flag. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Raise Energy.
Raise Energy, big sponsor of this channel. Thank you very much. 42 CGMX Rose up front, 48 of the Aviator P2. The battle for P3 is actually the battle on the track. Who's going to grab that final podium position? Up ahead of the 9 of More Smoke, you see the 48, you see the 42. No challenge there. 41 of Dan the Lawman was all over the back bumper of the 9, coming off turn 4. It looks like it's going to be the 9 to come in P3, also 3rd in points in the final regular season race right here from Darlington. Congrats to our top 3. 42 Credit One Bank Camaro CGMX Rose, Brant Camaro for the one and only two-time champ, the Aviator, and the 9 right here of Amore Smoke. Ladies and gents, we will be right back as soon as we get our top 3 into the booth. In the meantime, go on over, open up that can of Rays. You may only want to take a sip or two. It's bound to keep you up for at least 8 hours. I will see you on the flip side. Congratulations one more time, Rose. We'll be right back with post-race interviews. Again, keep it right here. All right, guys, we are back. One more time, big thanks for keeping it right here. Definitely appreciate you. We're going to start off with OP number 3, the 9 Credit 1, I'm sorry, Unifirst Camaro for the one and only Amore Smoke. Amore, bud, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Amore, it definitely looked like you had to fight your way through traffic a couple times. You and the 41 and Dan the Lawman absolutely having a great battle to find out who was going to be final car on the podium. Eventually, you're able to work your way under him. When that caution came out with about 20 laps to go, did you think when you had to start in like P6, P7 that you were going to be able to work your way through the field? Or what did it take to be able to get by some of the faster cars as you get further and further up the pack?
Just gotta get lucky and stay consistent. I was not consistent all race. Had a lot of problems. Kept messing up. Kept going back to the back and kind of lucked out on a caution. Had a pretty solid battle there with Dan. That was a lot of fun. He raced really well all night. Him, J-Paw. We battled pretty much all night. It was kind of tough to get through the field.
Yeah, I mean the field here in NNR. I mean to steal Stout's name is just that. It is Stout. You've got some of the best on Xbox that compete week in and week out. You, Rowdy, Stout Whiskey, Amore. The Aviator, CJMX Rose, Lucky Dog. I mean, you're talking a few Pro League drivers. You're talking some of the best on Xbox that try to compete for the Pro League. If they don't run in the regular Pro League season, y'all take part in the winter season or all the other special events that 704 or Motorsports Games has put out. I mean, it's been one hell of a regular season, and here you are, P3 in the podium, P3 in the overall points. It's been one hell of an up and down season for you. Started off very, very strong, got 3 wins like within the first 3 weeks. I'm sorry, 3 wins within the first 5 weeks, I'd say. And then you kind of mellowed out there, but you're finishing with some great stage points as they're about to reset getting into next week. If you kind of reflect on the way your season has been, what are some of the highs and what are some of the lows?
Definitely winning is the high, but I mean, I wouldn't say they're lows, but it's a struggle week in and week out because it's just so competitive. It's hard to be as good as some of these guys, and hats off to them. I mean, Rose was just too good all year. There's no shot at chasing him down. Stout's been super consistent. Lucky Dog came in, and Aviator came back a couple weeks back, so he's a little bit back in the points, but I mean, all the cars are just so fast, so just to be third is kind of still, not too bad.
Well, I'm going to give you some numbers here. I'm going to do the same thing with Stout Whiskey here in just a minute, as well as CGMX Rose. All right, obviously everybody out there, they know your car number. That 9 has just been bad fast all season long. 333 race points, 218 stage points, not bad at all. You've got a few penalty points on the season, but overall 551 total points, under 100, less than Stout Whiskey. You've got 20 starts, so you missed a couple races, but still up there, right with CGMX Rose and Stout Whiskey. So that leaves 2 races out. You made tonight, so it'll actually be 21 and 2 missed. You don't have any poles this year, but you've got 4 wins. That absolutely makes up for that. You've got 13 top 5s, 15 top 10s, an average finish of 6, and 222 points behind Rose, but 14 playoff points. So when everything resets, I think you'll reset in P number 4. Boehner's Lucky Dog, who came in late, has kind of stolen some of the thunder, but still not bad top 5. And you've been inside the top 3, top 4 every year when it's come to the championship race. Last year we watched you, CGMX Rose, Boehner, and of course the Aviator battle it out at Atlanta Motor Speedway, where y'all just about came to the line through turns 3 and 4, 3 wide. We've got 6 races left in this season, starting next week at Phoenix. What do you need to get up there to put, CGMX Rose or the 13 of Lucky Dog or the 2 car Stout Whiskey in your rear view and maybe grab a couple of wins very quick in the season or in the postseason?
Yeah, I kind of need Rose to maybe make a mistake or something because he's got a lot of stage points or playoff points, so it's gonna be an uphill battle. I like Phoenix, so hopefully we can, get a strong start. Maybe work through Watkins Glen and then put together a string of some good races.
Buddy, I definitely root for you every single week. I absolutely congratulate you on a great regular season. P3 heading into the postseason. Man, congratulations. Any shout outs for you after tonight's race?
Oh yeah, shout out to you, man. You've been sticking with us for years now, every week. So I mean, that's a tough go at it. Everybody, you know us more than we know ourselves sometimes.
Oh, well, man, I pull for you.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations one more time, sir.
Thanks.
You got it. Oh, Mr. Yotes, you've got P2.
Aviator, it's Yotes. You got me.
I do.
Man, you had a crazy fast car tonight. You were up giving CGM Rose a run for his money in certain part of the races, but it looked like towards the end you lost a little bit of steam. But chugging along, kept P2. How was this race tonight? Being the last regular season race, was there any adjustments at the end, thinking that maybe you can come in, squeak a quick win from the 42, start your postseason off right?
Yeah, man. I mean, the car was great. After plenty of adjustments throughout the race. I had some problems with the wheel, like I've been having for the past couple weeks. In stage 1, disconnected, had to drive my way back. Screwed myself, really, but was able to figure it out, get the setup right, and I think I put myself exactly where I needed to be before that caution came out, because I basically built a long-run car, and it was beautiful. But then that came out, I had to reconfigure my whole strategy, figure out the setup again, and it just wasn't there at the end. There wasn't much I could do to catch Rose. He's just so consistent, and if he has a good car under him, it's just hard to catch.
Yeah, Rose was on it tonight, but, you got to give yourself some credit. You did absolutely amazing. Looking in the postseason, you got 6 races. It's only 6 races, no cutoffs, just straight up flat through. I think you're about P6 is where you're starting for the playoffs. Any tracks you're looking forward to? What's your plan going in the Phoenix next week?
In the Phoenix, I kind of going with the same idea every time. I'm not too great there, so I'm kind of just basically looking forward to Watkins Glen if we keep that in the schedule. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes, but I don't expect a lot of Phoenix.
There you go. Like I said, you're P6. I wish you the best of luck in the postseason. You got any shout-outs?
Of course. Shout out to you guys in the booth. Shout out to Koei, of course, for keeping it going, even though iRacing is such a great thing now. Shout out to Jeff for keeping it over on the Xbox side as well. And shout out to Dan the Lawman. He almost got himself a podium again. That would have been great.
Well, there you go. Pete, I believe you got our winner, Mr. Rose.
Actually, I do have CJMX Rose, but I'm going to make a quick little pit stop here, and I'm going to pick up that Deuce, that discount tire Ford Mustang of the one and only Stout Whiskey, as our buddy HD Motorsports used to say. Don't quite have the voice. He just does it a whole lot better than I do. Stout Whiskey, you got a copy, sir?
Yes, sir. What's up, Pete?
Stout, I'll tell you what, man, it has been an amazing regular season. Before I talk to Rose about this race and his postseason, we're gonna bring you in. Sitting P number 2, car number 2. You've had one hell of a very, very consistent season, and I remember talking to you way back. You said you were just going to do everything you could to make sure you came home with the best possible finish, and here you are. I mean, Rose was very, very hard to catch. Ever since he got that equipment through his pro league deal, he's just been on fire, both him and Lucky Dog. But all about you right now, all right? 369 total race points, 260 stage points, second to only Rose. You got 6 penalty points, so kind of kept that on the low. 623 total season points, just about 150 off for Rose. 22 starts, 23 tonight, so you've made every single race. Again, zero in that next column. You got a pole, not too shabby. You're not one that normally goes for poles, so congrats there. You got 2 wins on the season. Man, when you did it right, you did it right. 14 top 5s. You got 20 top 10s. Again, talking about that model of consistency of 5.64 average finish. Again, model of consistency. 0 DNFs. One of the best numbers you could possibly have of all the columns. You've got 8 stage wins for a total of 14 playoff points. You and Amore Smoke are going to be neck and neck when all the points are reset starting next week at Phoenix. Not a bad season at all, sir. Not a bad season at all. When we get to Phoenix and the rest of the schedule, are there any tracks that are really sticking out that favor Stout Whiskey? Or what are you looking forward to most to keep that consistency going? Keep trying to plug away at CGMX Rose. Keep Amore Smoke either right there with you or in your rear view. And oh, by the way, when Lucky Dog does show up, which has kind of been more frequent since he kind of changed his mind about the whole going part-time, just like the Aviator. What does Stout Whiskey need to do to try to go for that NNR Cup Series championship?
Well, obviously, it's going to take a miracle to probably catch Rose at this point, but, just be consistent. Yeah, talking about the stats, I've been the 3rd most consistent driver in NNR, and that means the most to me. And being able to race the whole season and be second in points. I'm OG. I like the old school points. So, being able to end the regular season and be second in points means more than anything to me. Now it's going to be a kind of a 6-race crapshoot, and you can't control everything that's done to you or happens in that 6-race crapshoot. So you just got to be prepared and do the best you can, and understand that this is not going to take away from the regular season. But definitely looking forward to Phoenix. It's a track I really enjoy. I guess I'm flipped from Aviator. I have to go to Watkins Glen and try to survive as much as we can there. But it's just try to keep the same thing up, man. Just be consistent. Just do my thing. Have fun. I don't know many other people that has more fun than I do on this game. So we'll see. I'll try to, hopefully over these last 6 races, I can, get Rose fired up again. He, I don't know if he feels like it, but he raced me kind of shitty early in the year, and I gave him shit back. And we had a good little rivalry there for 5 or 6 weeks. And I don't know. I'm prepared to get that started back up moving into these final 6 races.
Well, Stout, just like I told him, More Smoke, that I absolutely pulled for you as well. Meeting you in person, either at the track or, just about a month ago here at my house, talking NASCAR, going through some of the stuff that I bought in that collection. It's always fun hanging around with you. The first time I met you at Atlanta Motor Speedway, I think it was, or Charlotte, I told you, I said, I thought you were a bully. Big old bald head, kind of a stocky guy. It's like, man, yeah, this ain't going to be good. And then to meet you and actually get to talk to you, you are probably one of the best people to know. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate everything that you do here in NNR as Coey's right-hand man. And I look forward to the rest of this season, and who knows what NNR has in store over on the iRacing side, as well as whether a new season starts up with Heat 5 or whatever the next edition is. Stout, thank you very much for being you and all that you do, sir.
Hey, thank you, Pete. And, that compliment about being one of the coolest dudes you've met, that's more important than anything, man. I try to get along with everybody and have fun and be helpful where I can. I feel like that's what God's called us to do, with life here on earth. So I really appreciate that. I want to give you a shout out and for calling all our races, not only our races, Xfinity races, for what you do for the truck series. Pete, you're a freaking rock star. I love you to death. Thank you. Thank all the guys that stood up and I gave up free time to call our races. Coey, who takes care of, oversees all 3 series, and the amount of time and effort he puts in, because, you sacrifice time that you don't have to. So very appreciative of that. Very appreciative everybody tunes in, and I love racing with these guys, man. I got to say this, people talk about league racing. There's no other league like NNR. And I'll tell anybody that to the face. And, if they want to throw blows, we can do that. But guys here love racing, and we love each other. We love being around each other. We love goofing off, playing other games with each other. But the main thing is we want to beat each other, and we're going to do it the right way. And 99.9% of the time. And you just can't find that anywhere else.
Couldn't agree more. Congratulations, Stout Whiskey.
Thank you, Pete.
You got it. Well, I guess I can move on up one rung on this ladder, not only in the standings, but tonight's winner. 42 Credit One Camaro CGMX Rose, as again, our buddy, I miss him too, HD Motorsports used to say. Rose, you got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, I got you, Pete.
Rose, I tell you what, man, I thought that 48 was going to have you until something happened. He fell back just a little bit in the later laps after the stop. Not quite sure what happened. Whether he cranked up the tires and maybe got a little loose. I don't know. If we hit the wall, I don't know. We were kind of watching the battle between the 9 and the 41 to see who's going to grab that third step on the podium, as Rick James likes to say. But buddy, you were bad fast. You started outside pole tonight, so we knew that you were going to be right there. You had the 95 of Jose on the inside. Both of you got a great launch, but man, once you got that clean air, typical CJMX Rose, just about all season long, you pretty much set sail. You've got some secrets about that Fanatec equipment that you won't share. And man, if it comes to when it comes to performance or giving that edge to somebody else, I don't know if I would do it either, to be honest with you. But man, so when that caution came out, 48's right there with you. Did you think that you were going to be able to hold him off when he was hot on your tail for just about the entire race before that caution came out? Did you think that once he got into the clean air, you were going to have to maybe try to move him or make any contact to be able to get that lead back? Or knowing that you've got a great points lead going into the postseason, would you just kind of said, all right, Aviator, you go ahead?
Well, the car was super tight because of adjustments I had made throughout the race. So I was just praying that we would go green to see if it would ever loosen up and I would be able to gain a gap on Aviator, and it just was not happening. So that last caution was kind of a blessing in disguise because when we came down, I was able to loosen it up, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do, which is rotate more in the center, and it just allowed me to get a gap to Aviator, and I was able to maintain it for the last, I'd say 7 or 8 laps, and we brought it home.
Absolutely brought it home, and I tell you what, that it seems like every week those blue and white colors are up in the top 3, top 5, and of course that's going to lead to where I'm going next. I gave him more, went through all of his numbers, went through Stout Whiskey's numbers, but clearly you are the most consistent. You have been throughout the entire season. Everybody at some point or another has seen the 42 of CGMX Rose on camera, going through, being talked about, whatever. 411 race points, 363 total stage points, only 1 penalty. There aren't many people up there that have a goose egg. So man, not a bad job at all for that. 773 total season or regular season points so far. You've made every single race, all 23 again. So that means no missed races. You've got 7 poles. Tonight gives you 9 wins on the season. By far, you've done a whole lot better than you did last year. One hell of a performance all regular season long. 18 top 5s, 19 top 10s. Best average finish of all drivers with a 4.27. The only goose egg that you've got besides the missed races is DNF. Keeping in the race and running all the possible laps that you could gives you 19 stage wins and, oh, by the way, 43 playoff points. And Rose, Stout, and Amore, these are all race numbers as of last week. Obviously, the points aren't updated yet. So you've got, if we weren't going back to resetting anything, you would have had a 150 point lead over Stout Whiskey, 222 over Amore Smoke, and you could pretty much coast through these next 6 weeks with how consistent you are. So with going over those numbers, does anything stick out to you? Any parts of the season that you said, you know what, I think I got a handle on this, I just need to maintain over the long run, and you'd be sitting pretty good looking for that first NNR championship in just 6 weeks from now?
Well, the thing that I was able to do this year way better than I was able to do last year was get stage wins, which I'm pretty sure you said 19. I don't think I came close to that last year. So that was a big improvement that I made this year, and it's definitely going to help me in the playoffs with all the playoff points that I was able to accumulate doing that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're up front, when you're hogging that clean air, you're not fighting any of that dirty air off of somebody else in front of you. You're battling side by side. Maybe getting knocked into the grass once or twice by the one and only Stout Whiskey at Auto Club. I don't know, but no, man, And by the way, Stout should have had 3 wins. You stole that one from him at Kansas. I'll say that until I'm blue in the face. But I digress. Man, one hell of a season. Any shout outs for all the CJMX Rose fans out there?
Well, I don't know if I have many, but thanks for supporting me, and shout out to Coey, Jeff, all the drivers for a heck of a season we've had, and thank you for doing all the races that you do throughout the season. So, yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, congratulations on that top run. Congratulations on the win tonight, and congratulations on your regular season championship, Rose. One hell of a performance, sir.
Thank you.
You got it. Oh, Mr. Coey! Jim Coey, please report to the principal's office.
Yes, Pete, how is it going there, buddy?
I tell you what, Coey, 23 races into the regular season, 6 more to go. Is a pretty lengthy off season before we got all these drivers together, got the Cup Series together. We held the draft or whatever you want to call it to get each driver into their individual series. You let Stout Whiskey, or you asked Stout to be your number 2 here in Cup with some help from Boehner. Of course, can't forget him. J-Pa over the Xfinity, and of course Swats over the truck. Whole lot less drama this year, or so it seems, at least on the Xbox side. You definitely deserve all kinds of credit. I know over the last couple weeks you've sat more back, kind of watching these guys, make sure no tomfoolery or shenanigans were really going on. But everybody in the league, man, we all absolutely appreciate you. Just like I asked to More Smoke, Coey, what are some of your ups and downs, and what are your fondest memories of this regular season before we kick off the postseason next week at Phoenix?
Oh, definitely the ups for the season are is the community itself. I mean, all the drivers that come back every season, camaraderie between the drivers. Like Stout said earlier, a lot of these guys all like to race together, race hard together, and play other games together, and go to races, real live NASCAR races, and hang out. And it's just it's a good community. We try to get along. We have our ups and downs as far as, it's some heated moments at times, but at the end of the day, everyone's there for each other. Whenever we have issues with people have issues with family members and all, we're always there for each other for support and take care of each other. I went through a loss, Rowdy just did, and we're always there for each other for that, with the salutes and all the stuff that you do to put together for those kind of salutes. So I always feel that's always the upside of the league. I mean, at the end of the day, you're just trying to come here and get away from your problems and try to have fun every week. The downs this year, like you said, has not been too bad. I mean, like I said, there's always some moments, but it's been a pretty fun season. Things have changed a little bit with a lot of guys going to iRacing, and unfortunately, this game did not bring what we thought it was going to bring this year. So a lot of the tracks, drivers would be upset about how the track handles and all, but I would say that's really kind of the only downside is the field shrinks down towards the end, and if you're not in the playoffs, you kind of want to move on to another league or went to iRacing or whatever. But besides that, it's been a good season.
I've got to agree, and once these points are tallied, I'm actually going to be really, really curious. I'm going to go through this top 12. And when I get down to the bottom, I'll explain to you why I'm going to be very, very curious to see how this shakes out. Of course, we know our top 3, CJMX Rose, Stout Whiskey, and a More Smoke. Lucky Dog really came onto the scene with a hell of a bang, just like the Aviator decided to go from just part-time to full-time. He was missing the night because of some internet issues, but then you've got, sitting in P5, you got Boehner. P6, Jose 95. P7, the Double Deuce, J-Pa. In P8, NNR Rowdy. P9, Aviator, again, went from part-time to full-time and really made a big impact. The 10, Parzival in that 21. 41 of Dan the Lawn Man. And then in P12, we'll have to see how this shakes out. P12 is going to be Mike Honcho with 622 points. I don't know if Mike Honcho made it in tonight. Maybe you guys recall whether he's on track. I don't remember calling out his name. But Fort Smitty was at 627 points, so just 5 points behind Honcho. So if Honcho wasn't out there, I assume that would put Smitty in, and we could have a little bit of a shakeup for that last spot. We'll have to see once you tally all the points. But from the beginning of the season till now, any surprises for anybody that made that top 12, or anybody that really stands out to you?
I guess right off the bat, the biggest improver over the last season and just since he's been with us has been Stout. I mean, he's really come on strong. Back when we first started, I thought he was, pretty average driver, but then he's really been the one I would say who stands out to me the most. That's really stepped up his game between racing here and the other leagues he's running in, and with the heat stuff. And I would definitely say he's been the most improved.
There you go. I'd probably have to throw the 41 of Dan the Lawn Man between his season last year in the 35 and in the 41 this year. Definitely big improvement. So J-Pa going from last year to this year as well. He's improved tremendously also. But man, to echo what Stout said, Coey, I really, really thank you from the bottom of my heart for keeping me on as your streamer, your broadcaster, your commentator, whatever. Definitely thank Rick James and Vols and Expert and Yotes for stepping in every now and then as well. Had a few guests along the season so far. We've got 6 more to go, sir. 6 more races. Thank you very much for all you do for NNR, not only on the Xbox side, but also over in our newest endeavor over on iRacing. Coey, thank you.
I appreciate it, Pete, and that's goes for you too, for all the guys that between you and Rick James and Vols and Expert, Yotes even now helping out, Swats, J-Pa, Stout, all the guys that've been here for every race. Rose and Amore, Lucky's been here for a good amount of time. All these guys that stuck it out. That's kind of what we did when we switched over to no-name racing, was basically the idea of it's not about the league name, it's about the drivers, and that's basically why we came up with no-name racing. It's a community of us all together and trying to watch each other's backs and put on a good show and try to do the best we can at doing that. And with you broadcasting, it's been a treat, and glad to have you, and glad to have you on the iRacing side now, and see what you can do out there on the track will be exciting as well.
Oh, I'm gonna finish in front of you every week. No, I'm just kidding. No, I definitely appreciate it. And you, like I told you, man, this is my home. I'm not going anywhere. I'll never leave you flat. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yotes, man, I tell you what, one hell of a race followed up by some great conversation afterwards about a great 23-week season, regular season so far. Buddy, thank you very much for occasionally coming on out, hanging out, not only chatting it up here in the booth, but also out there in chat as well. Both you and your brother Holler. Thank you very much. Definitely appreciate you.
No, man, it's been fun to be on here. It's been a blast. I can't wait to be involved with this postseason. It's gonna be fun, especially coming in a little later in the seasons. It's been amazing. I'm glad to be a part of NNR. This was definitely a great choice that I made, and thank you to all the guys that have put this on, especially Coey. We wouldn't be here without you, bud.
Thank you, sir.
All right, well, guys, that is absolutely going to wrap it up for the for the regular season. We saw the one and only NNR Bowling get it done at Darlington. He's the regular season champ on that side, very likely. He's got a pretty firm grip on the Truck Series title. He called that shot very, very long ago. He wanted to win the Truck Series championship, then go on to Xfinity, then go on to Cup and press his luck there. See if he can get by the likes of CJMX Rose, the Aviator, Stout Whiskey, More Smoke, Lucky Dog, and so many others. So then, of course, the 15 of King Mathers. He took his regular season championship on the Xfinity side with very, very close battle with the 9 of Q-Dog. And then, of course, right here, the one and only Lewis Zader, CGMX Rose, gets it done on the Cup side, followed closely by Stout Whiskey and More Smoke. Guys, we will see you next week from the land of the sun, Arizona. Yeah, Phoenix International Raceway for race 1 of a very short 6-week speed race to a championship. We'll see who gets it done. Thanks everybody for coming out, hanging out, chatting it up, keeping us company. We definitely appreciate y'all. See you next week. Later.